Multiple someones did.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
it
not
looks
worth
like
it.
we are live.
Yay,
Ooh.
yay.
Hello?
Do I need D4s as a
Welcome
warlock?
to
No.
Destination Divergence. Episode whatever. It's live now, who cares? Last time,
Yup.
you guys fought that necromancer on the road that came across you in the middle of the night. Some well-placed fireballs took out most of the zombies he had conjured to fight you. And it was over pretty quickly. After that, after looting, you didn't find much, but you eventually stumbled across the area that you believe he found the bodies, which also appeared to be tied to the Warforged you fought recently. But you continued traveling, not particularly bothered. What did bother a few of you, though, were some nightmares in the middle of the night. Both Faye and Milos have had nightmares so far. Both of them related to the woods to the north, the Duskwood, and both involving some small child, some small girl, either asking for help or pointing the way, or even violently dying in the nightmare. Whatever these dreams mean, it obviously isn't good, but the party has decided that whatever's going on, they must intervene. And so you have diverted your travel to start heading north, off-road. I do not remember if the party decided that they wanted to leave the cart on the road or off-road it, but I guess we can have that discussion now.
I assumed we'd off-road until we got to the edge of the wood.
Yeah, and if there's any kind of path, we can just continue
Well,
on.
I think a proper question is, what is the terrain like?
Also, would the wood be too dense to go with the?
I think
whole
he did
box?
describe it as a very dense wood.
Okay.
It is very dense. At this time of year, though, you likely wouldn't have much trouble with the subcanopy and the density of the plants there. They'd mostly be dead, but still, just the density of the trees would be hard to fit your oversized, extra-large party bus through there.
Right.
Though somebody did suggest using your newfound Warforged Titans to just carve a path.
Yeah, I would really rather not just destroy the forest.
That's fair. So we see how far we can get with the cart before it wouldn't come out easily, and then go on foot.
I think that's the play.
All right.
Sure.
All right.
Now set a course.
You will indeed, as you guys pack up for the morning, as Leroy finishes his watch, you all have this early discussion over breakfast, I assume. And you begin off-roading. It's a little bit difficult at first, as the horses have to adjust to traveling through the snow, which is beginning to melt away at this point, and hasn't quite settled into a permanent, well, semi-permanent layer of snow for the season. But they adjust quickly, and though you're traveling at a somewhat reduced pace, they're managing. Since you have a full squad of 8 horses, it's not going to be too much of a sweat. Your 2 titans on either side are running alongside the cart. And so, anything special you guys want to do during the travel? And who is keeping watch, if anyone?
I can keep watch. Well, we were rotating, weren't we?
I think someone tossed up the idea of rotating watch, but like, I don't think anyone ever actually agreed to it besides you and Nakareth.
We could rotate.
Yeah, I mean, I can take this watch.
Yeah. Sure.
Just not by my dice right now.
Alright. Go ahead and roll me a perception check then, please.
1 moment. Just about to pick up my food. Perception check. 19.
All right. So, as you guys are headed through the snow, you've now left the road behind, and for a while, all you can really see in most directions, except for the horizon, is just empty white plains. There's a gentle rising and falling to the plains, but not really any hills in this area, and everything is now covered in snow. Although it's thin, all you can see is white in any direction.
Hi.
Except for, off in the distance, the Duskwood ahead of you, which is now starting to loom as you grow closer and closer to it. Near the end of the day, you guys see ahead of you in the snow a lightning rail track. It is you've pretty much exhausted your horses with the day's travel so far, but if you wish to push and try to get past the lightning rail at this point, you may. That's an option. Or you can try to make camp far enough away from it that you don't look suspicious. Or you can look suspicious, that's always an option too.
I generally try to avoid taking points of exhaustion.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's get as close as we realistically can.
Okay. Possibly shelter underneath, was that the idea?
So the track isn't really... it is raised above, similar to the road that you were on previously, but not with a hollow structure underneath. It's just kind of mounded dirt that the rail is then placed on top of, so that in the case of flooding, it would be one of the last things to be flooded.
Who said anything about a hollow structure underneath?
Well, I mean, if you want to
shelter underneath,
if you want to dig out enough room for 2 Warforged Titans and a party bus and 8 horses, I mean, I won't stop you.
What does the word undermine even mean?
So at this point, it's a couple miles away still. You can see it in the distance because of the pretty strong glow and like the crackle of lightning across the rails from this distance. Especially since, you know, the entire area around you is a blank white space. This one little area that rises up and is a different color stands out quite strongly, even though it's quite a ways away. Alright, so it sounds like you guys are making camp here. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning. So as you all begin to unpack your supplies as usual, clear out a spot of snow so that you can build a campfire and make some comfy areas for the horses and stuff, night begins to fall quickly. Even more quickly than you've been used to recently, and a few of you with higher perception ratings, I suppose that would be Leroy, because of the shield, Nakareth, Karik, and Milos. You would all notice that it's getting dark early, even earlier than it would just from the season alone at this time of year.
Is there any indication of what's making it get darker?
Not necessarily, it just seems like it's becoming night faster than usual, as if the night is unnaturally long and starting unnaturally early.
World's on its edge. Well, I will mention that to the party. Which I guess I can actually just do. Does anybody else think it's getting dark earlier than it should?
No, I've definitely noticed that. It's really strange. I mean, it does get quicker in the wintertime, but it is unnaturally quick.
I suppose this might be why it's called the Duskwood.
Oh, are we there already? Guess
We're
that
close
makes
enough
sense.
within its proximity. It's probably very similar to the Eldritch Groves.
Like the thing where the Eldritch Groves tries to pull you in.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I think you're right.
Okay, so we should probably
Get
be
torches.
careful around
Hopefully
here.
nothing attacks us.
Vibe check on the Duskwood.
What specifically are you trying to figure out about it?
Is it because we're aware that the Eldritch Groves are sort of personal, like they have an alignment to them, right?
During your time spent there, and from what you've heard about them in Galt and what you've experienced, yeah, you would say there's definitely something spooky going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's a specific
So-
alignment or just some sort of strong energy at play there, you're uncertain. But there's definitely something going on.
Yeah. So whatever category that fills for the Eldritch Groves, I'd like to see what that vibe is for the Duskwood.
Sorry, just adjusting that real quick. Yeah, go ahead and give me an insight check.
Oh, I'm so good at those. That's a solid 3.
Yeah, from this distance, I mean, you're looking at trees on the horizon that are all dead with snow covering some of them and snow near it. It's just basically still a patch of darkness on the horizon more than anything else. You don't uncover anything unnatural about it. At least at this point.
Anybody else is up to figure it out? I can't right now.
I'm sorry, figure out what?
Let's get closer.
Yeah, that
I
seems
agree.
fair. I was trying to figure out what's up with that wood that would make it dark in the air so early, but I'm blanking.
Oh, it might just be an illusion magic gone awry. Or come alive.
Or it could be a spooky woods under some kind of evil spell,
Perhaps.
perhaps.
Well, I guess I'll
That's fair.
give my attempt at an insight check.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll summon the mask and get a feel.
Vibe check.
Yeah. Let's see. 20 advantage. Wow, 2 11s. Okay. 18.
All right. So with your visage active and even though it's in the distance, you have pretty good eyesight right now. And though it's starting to become dusk, it's not dark enough that you can't see the forest from this distance. And looking at it and just kind of trying to get a feel for it and trying to read the atmosphere and take in all the knowledge you have about the strangeness of the time of day and the darkness around you. Things don't really seem to connect, necessarily. The Duskwood definitely looks pretty spooky right now just because it's a forest full of leafless trees due to the time of year. You know, very Halloween. But it's, you don't detect anything specifically evil about it.
Alright, nothing malevolent. Okay.
Nothing from the woods
Well.
itself.
Well, it doesn't feel like there's anything currently malevolent. So I think we're safe for now. Ish.
I think we keep going until we find something more definitive. I mean, we know we're going in,
Oh yes.
regardless, unless
I know. I just don't think we're getting there today, are we? Well, what passes for this time frame of today, since daylight apparently means nothing here.
You guys are about one more day's
I
travel there.
Well, let's just walk until we get tired and then the rest.
Yes.
perfect.
Sorry, I was having connection.
Towards the
before.
s-
It's like
spooky
all
evil.
dark.
What was that, Kark?
Sorry, I was having connection issues earlier. Is it like all dark all the time now?
Not all dark all the time now, but perhaps like the sun is setting.
Dusk?
Yeah, it's dusk, maybe an hour to a half an hour earlier than normal for some reason.
Oh, okay.
And those of you with higher perception ratings picked up on it. Like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. It's only like 5 o'clock. Why is everything dark already? You know, it's like one of those deals.
I already killed it.
It's not the middle of winter already.
Damn
Exactly.
magic daylight saving.
Okay. But you know the little, like...
All right. Anything else before you guys turn in for the evening?
Nah.
All right.
Just gonna walk into some spooky woods and die.
All right. Leroy, I will assume the usual evening ritual. Or are you doing something else this evening?
Myself so that my head's in the snow.
What was that?
I said I was thinking I'd invert myself so my head's in the snow.
Ah, yes.
But I didn't mean that. I just thought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get as close to
Normal
nature
stuff.
as possible, yeah. Alright, make me your 3 perception checks then, please.
Alright, and I will make them at disadvantage from advantage because I'm going to do my research during the night, so...
So flat checks, yeah.
Numbers 2,
Numbers.
8, 16, 21.
8, 16, 21. Okay.
Yep.
Throughout the night, occasionally, maybe twice during the night, and you're so surprised by it you don't necessarily know exactly what times they happened at, but sometime early in the night and sometime later in the night, trains pass by, going northeast, coming out of Passage towards Fairhaven. They're loud, they wake most of you up, even though they're a couple miles off. It's kind of just this low rumble of the lightning and thunder energy that propels these trains. They mostly care about not projecting the sound inwards to preserve the ears of those riding on the trains. They don't care so much if the sound pollutes the area around the train. So, unfortunately, the sound travels quite well over the plains and wakes you guys at a couple points in the night, but quickly passes. They're also very bright because they're lightning everywhere. It's basically like a thunderstorm passing you guys very quickly. But they pass uneventfully, and so does the night.
Oh, no. Cirques.
Alright.
Except for Drost.
Oh!
Drost, you have a dream.
Keep your spooky dreams to yourself.
You see the forest as well, Drost. This time, closer than ever. You've never been here. You don't know how you feel like this is the Duskwood, but you know it is somehow. From your companions talking of it and seeing it in the distance, this is definitely the Duskwood. Or at least what you would imagine it would look like.
Okay.
Spooky trees everywhere. It's tall. There's no leaves anywhere, but still, the dead branches themselves are almost dense enough to block out light. You see 2 crows on branches of the trees ahead of you. Beneath them and slightly farther away, you see a stain of blood in the snow. What do you do?
Well, I suppose I should go investigate it, but I'm gonna keep my eye on the crows.
All right. As you approach, the crows flitter off, cawing as they disappear into the trees. And as you approach the bloodstain in the snow, you see that half buried in the snow and half kind of pressed under it is a body. And you immediately recognize this body, but in a surreal way, because this is a body you've seen plenty of times, but never from this perspective. It's your own body. Wearing your current equipment, face up in the snow. And then you awake.
Nice.
You didn't wake up from a train this time, did you?
Hmm. Something is telling me if I go in the woods, I die. It seems
Do you
I am
believe
not welcome.
Oh dear.
What did you see? Are you sure that's the meaning?
Well, it was my body, dead. As I look right now. Seems rather blunt.
Did you see the girl?
No, just me.
Hmm.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Right?
Are you?
Strange.
I'm not.
Roll an insight.
Are you rolling an insight check, Kark?
I would roll a deception. Because he does not think it's okay.
Oh, okay.
No, Jost already thinks it's not okay. He doesn't. I don't need to roll an insight or.
That's a natural one, so.
Yeah, he's just like it's not.
Not
It's
okay.
not.
You can read it all over Carrot's face.
He's saying it's completely okay, but shaking his head no at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, perhaps we just be extra careful in the spooky woods.
Hmm.
Nobody goes off on their own, and he'll glance at Faye, especially you.
Buddy system. Man. Buddy system.
I suppose.
Since this is your
Wanna be buddies,
little
Dross?
adventure.
Oh, it's not
And
just me.
you have healing spells.
Yes, I think that is the real compelling reasoning here. I'm willing to.
Unless the woods are telling us
recognize that.
Dross is the little girl.
Bite me.
It was the truth all along.
I mean, the little girl shows up dead, Dross shows up dead. Therefore, Dross is the little girl.
I will show you how much of a little girl I am. Weak.
I'd love to see it.
No, thank you, Dross. I'm okay.
The cannon I need.
I'm going back to sleep.
That's fair. Good
Hopefully,
night,
I
Dross.
do not dream of myself for little girls.
I hope you don't dream of little girls.
Fuck you, Jesus. Taking you back to jail.
Right after that awkward conversation, as you're all trying to go to sleep to avoid further conversation, is
sorry.
when one of the trains goes by. And so you're forced to kind of stay up for a few more minutes just thinking about what was just said.
I'm terrible.
Thinking about Dross
I'm
being a little
Psychic
girl.
damage.
I'm in a mood tonight. Sorry, guys.
It's all good, it's all good.
Oh, I'm here for it. I love it.
Otherwise, the night passes uneventfully. Though, Leroy, as you keep watch, you do notice in the morning that it takes the sun a little bit of extra time to rise, much like it took some extra time for it to set. And it's slight. You almost feel like you wouldn't have noticed it if you weren't empowered by perception-boosting magic. But you do notice it. The night is definitely longer.
Okay. Does it feel as though the closer we approach to the Duskwood, the less day we have, or is there just not enough information for that?
Make me just a flat wisdom check.
Oh,
Unless you have...
so that's just a flat D20 roll.
Yes.
9.
It's really hard to tell, honestly. Trying to fill in the gaps in your memories of the past few days and trying to kind of gauge and compare things. It's...
Can Carrot try and check as well?
Sure.
That is a... $16.
16. You have pretty limited data to work with, considering you've only been approaching the Duskwood for about a day's worth of travel, and then you made camp. But from what you can gather, it's definitely, whatever this effect is, it's definitely growing slightly stronger with time. You're not sure if it's time or distance to the Duskwood, though. But it's definitely stronger today than it was yesterday. Very slightly, though. A matter of minutes.
Interesting. Onward.
Alright, if there's nothing else you guys want to do before you leave.
Dross says, "Man, good thing I got dark vision at level 6."
I'm gonna need help with lighting. There's another reason I'm not gonna go running off.
Alright.
I say we blow up a section of this track. I don't want to say that.
As you guys approach, it takes you. It's a couple miles away, the track at this point, and so you pack up your gear and everything, and you have a bit of conversation on the way before you reach the tracks to see how you're going to bypass them. Are you just going to yeet straight over them, or are you going to try and find some other more clever way over? Up to you guys.
We've left the party bus behind at this point, right?
Up to you guys.
No, I
Yes.
thought we. Okay.
Are we at the tree line now?
You guys, this
No,
is
we're
the
the
beginning of day 2 of travel. You're starting travel a couple miles south of the lightning rail track, which is the yellow line there. From your previous experience with the lightning rail tracks and having to jump off or over them, going back and forth between the Eldritch Groves and Galt, I feel like it might be kind of difficult to get the cart over it. Most of you have had to do a little bit of acrobatics to try and get over without getting zapped by the rails, things like that. But if you want to try, you certainly can.
What if we leave just the horses by themselves? Do you think they can get over the rails?
I did not catch that, I'm sorry.
If it was
Why don't
just
we
the
just make
horses by
constitution checks?
themselves, could they get over the rails?
You think that if you could, if they trust you enough, you could probably get them to jump over the rails, yes. But it may be a feat of, making them not spooked enough by the rails to actually get over them.
Okay, because we have 2 steel defenders that can lift our party bus over. That's just a thought.
Oh shit.
So if we can get the horses over, we can definitely get the party bus over.
I'm just wary of not pushing the bus too far. I think we want to keep it safe more than anything.
Kara kind of looks around. Is it like all like flat plains out here?
Yeah, you guys are, 2 miles north is the lightning rail, and then it's about 25 miles south to the road and nothing in any other direction.
I'm not really seeing a safe place to hide it out here.
Okay, then I think you've got the right idea.
Okay.
Couldn't-
We'll start unhitching the horses from the...
Couldn't we just use a glove to make a road for the cart under the trail? Or over?
Use a what?
Temporary. The glove. The
Oh,
gauntlets.
yeah, why not?
You can certainly
We
try.
have the ability to make, do we not?
True.
That's a
To
great
make a
idea.
path.
It's a very good idea.
Can it transmute the earth?
It does mold earth, I believe. That's a question for you, George. What is your glove? What do your gloves have? They have fabricate.
Where did I put the gloves?
I don't think they have stone shape. I think it's mold earth
Yeah, mold, earth, and shape water.
at will.
At well.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's send it.
I think should do that. Can it not DM?
You don't think Mold Earth can what?
Build like a bridge for the horses.
Or like tunnel
So,
under.
Mold Earth specifically says if you target an area of loose earth, you can instantaneously excavate it. It would not help you with stones in the way, and if the earth is not loose, you cannot excavate it with Mold Earth. So it will probably help you with the surface area of a bit, but it might be pretty tricky to make like an actual tunnel with it.
We do also have charges of fabricate.
You do have that as well.
Does fabricate like change the earth, like use the earth as a component?
I'd say that's probably fine. You'd make like if you wanted to make a bridge out of dirt and stone, for example. It's probably doable.
This is a
Depending
nice solution,
on.
but how do you guys feel about plane shifting twice and ending up on the other side?
I like that.
The main problem you might encounter with Fabricate is it can only do a 10-foot cube area at a time, unless I said something different in the gloves description. So it may be difficult to make like a large enough bridge for the cart with that.
You may choose to increase the range to the original 120 feet, reduce the casting
that's
time
range.
to
Yeah. So I have reduced with the gloves. You have to touch something instead of the normal 120 foot range, but you can overdrive it to give it the 120 foot range again if you want, which has some risks. But if you need something to be made in an emergency 120 feet away from you, you can do that.
Maybe that's something we can tinker on together to try and make it work on more surface area.
Potentially.
Well, could we use a combination of the above to get over or under in a reasonable amount of time? Like, could use move water to soften a bunch of earth, and then move earth to move it, and then I don't know.
It's shape water, not move water.
Shape water.
So shape water has specific uses. It says you can instantaneously move or change the flow of water in a 5-foot area. You can cause it to form simple shapes. You can change its color and or opacity, and you can freeze it.
Yep.
So
make water magically appear. That's one of the ones I heard. Make a bridge.
I cast
Make water.
I cast make bridge as a cantrip.
Yes. Exactly.
I heard
Colored water on the ground.
I mean, if it's not feasible, we'll just, leave the wagon behind.
Well, it depends on how you guys want to do
Yeah,
it.
we give it a go.
I've given you the limitations of the spells. If you want to find a clever way to use them, you can. But I'm not going to.
You can cast if you want to.
I'm not going
You can
to
leave the
answer the
wagon
question,
behind.
is there a clever way to do this with a solution? I'll let you guys come up with a clever solution if you can.
Carrick's gonna say, I'm okay with leaving the horses if we have to, but I would much rather at least take the party bus and hide it somewhere by the woods if we can. I think it's safer there than out by the open, right by the rail.
I agree. I think
Because we can
I
definitely.
think as
get
long
the
as we get it hidden.
Yeah, we can definitely get the party bus over safely. I don't know the horses. It's a chance, but I think we can still do it.
What are people gonna do? Randomly jump off the train halfway to a town? Nobody does that.
It's gonna be crazy.
Oh man.
I don't know how expensive are horses.
I don't remember their
I
possibility.
mean,
We are not giving up these horses after we just got more horses.
That's true.
Exactly. So let's get them over the rail.
No, I say we leave them here with Nala, and then we come back. And
Yeah, that's true. Nala's here.
Now I can guard the horses and I guess a party bus if we want.
Yes.
yeah, have a guard. That makes sense. We would probably do that canonically.
We do have our PC manservant Nala.
I'm so glad he doesn't go back and listen to these. I mean, I would assume, but
I just keep him posted with recaps.
Reds have a very angry comment on the YouTube channel.
Dislike.
All right, so you guys are leaving the cart behind then for now?
Sounds like it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything important sitting in there that I wouldn't want to leave behind.
And those of you, the artificers, you guys have your steel defenders or your titans with you?
I am going to have my steel defender follow me still and go over the rails, but carrying my. I'm sorry. I'm going to have the Titan carry my steel defender over the rails.
Okay.
That is a smart decision that I wouldn't have thought of, so I'm going to say that I just have the Steel Defender.
Okay. So during your morning preparations, Milos just begins, as normal, preparing his steel defender. And Karek has his titan instead, as part of the morning ritual. And so, you guys take a couple hours, well, not a couple hours, an hour or so to travel there. It's pretty slow trudging through the snow, unfortunately, but your warm winter clothing is helping quite a bit. The day is warmer than usual, and the snow is beginning to melt a little bit, which doesn't really help you traveling through it. It's kind of stickier and wet. But at least you're not freezing to death. As you make your way to the lightning rail, look around, you don't see any actual trains coming from either direction at the moment. At least not as far as you can see, but out here you can see pretty far, and they're pretty noticeable, with basically being a localized thunderstorm that moves along the ground. But without the cloud. So, who's going first?
I'll go first.
There were several people talking there.
Leroy hops up and over.
Okay, acrobatics check, please.
Actually have stats for. That's a 19.
All right, easily. Even though the snow is kind of weighing you down a little bit, you just take a couple steps up and push yourself off out of the way and over all of the electric rails, and you land on the other side. You slip a little bit on the snow, but you catch your balance quite easily, and you're on your feet.
Faye's gonna look to Drost and say, just look up kind of pitifully and say, "Could you please help?"
No.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding, and I'll pick Faye up and throw her.
Okay. Faye, make me a dexterity saving throw to land.
Land on your
boy.
feet. Do it.
Well, they say cats always land on their feet.
Oh
They said
no!
wrong.
So, Drost, make me an athletics check.
Oh, 100%. I love
Shouldn't
these.
have said it, George.
All right.
Uh,
So,
yeah, that's what we like.
Drost,
Nat 20.
Faye, you get picked up by Drost quite suddenly, and then he just kind of does one quick 360 and just yeets you with one hand, just an underhanded lob. And you go
style.
You don't get much height, but you get a lot of distance. You fly far over the rails, and then you try to land on your feet, but your feet immediately slip. You fall over onto your shoulder, and then just slide along the snow for a little bit. You're now pretty soaked, and it's uncomfortable.
I'm imagining
Thanks.
I'm imagining the kitten cannon game.
Kitten cannon?
Oh my god.
In my head right now.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh no.
Perfect.
Oh,
Yep, that's
here
about
we
right.
are.
Straight
Alright.
over the rails.
So you are safe, but very uncomfortable because now all of your heavy fur coats and stuff are wet from the snow that you've landed in. The very densely melty snow.
Thank you.
I'm going to create a
Large.
bonfire to help you dry off.
You're so welcome. Dross will just hop the rails
Okay, dexterity
Like
or acrobatics check.
like a casual. How high are the rails?
They're not high, and it's not very far across either. The problem is landing on the other side and not slipping in the snow.
Oh, well, I mean,
Landing,
wait, Dex, right?
This would be acrobatics.
Sweet acrobatics with my
Trying
plus
to
0.
Maintain your balance in midair and on impact on the other side.
That's a solid 5.
Solid 5. So, Drost, you two slip on the other side, and I don't believe you're wearing heavy furs or anything, right? So you just get, because you're already well acclimated to this environment. So you get a bit wet, but, I mean, not much is hurt but your dignity.
Dross hops the rails, like hand on the rails, legs over, he just swings straight through. And then on the other side, he clears the other rails and just lands straight on his ass and slides down the hill.
Perfect.
Just like you just end up right next to me and just look over.
Just slightly
Okay.
disgruntled at the bottom. That is wet.
Indeed.
Carrick is going to overdrive his harness,
Okay.
and he doubles his jump distance, and so he'll jump right over it.
Okay. Make me an acrobatics check at advantage.
$18.
18. Okay. Much like Leroy, you jump over and you start to slide a little bit on the other side, but especially with all the extra force that your harness has generated in your legs. But the harness kind of helps you self-correct on the other side a little bit, alters your balance, and you maintain standing. You just kind of, like sliding on a wood floor with socks. It's kind of like that. You just land on the other side and just slide for a little bit.
Who's left?
Me. So I will, as a bonus action, rub my ring of jump and turn that on.
Okay.
And then let's see, I can all right. Well, and then for good measure, I will, as I'm running Step of the Wind, to double my jump distance again.
Okay.
And just glide on over as I slow fall down.
Sure. Give
Was
me.
monk
What?
shit.
With all of the things you activated there, you just do it. You're fine. You jump. Nakarath runs up to the edge, and then with an unnatural leap, just soars past all of you and kind of glides to the ground more slowly than you would expect. It's not like a chicken in Zelda slow, but it's noticeably slower than an object should be falling due to gravity. And he lands on the side gently and just casually, as if he had just hopped down off of a stair step. It's no change at all when he lands. He's fine. Despite having leapt, I don't know, what was that total jump distance you probably had there? It's quadruple.
Long jump is 60 feet horizontally.
So yeah.
18 feet off the ground, high jump.
Surprise.
So he was following with style for a little bit there.
I throw a snowball at Nakarath and stare daggers at him.
Wait, do I have that yet?
Make me a improvised attack roll, please. Yeah, I guess this would just be a d20 plus your dex.
Throw my javelin at lightning.
Oh, I do have deflect missiles.
Alright, I'm just gonna roll this as. I rolled a 9.
No.
It just
I catch it.
goes. Well, I mean, with a 9, I think it would just kind of go over above your head, maybe a few feet. Just.
He uses jump to reach up and catch it.
Point made.
I win.
All right, is anyone
I'll
else
just,
still over
I'll
there?
just drop it.
I guess I'll just hop over like casual then. 'Cause,
Okay. Acrobatics check, please.
What button is that? That's this button. Did it roll anything? No, but it says 17.
17. Okay. Yep, much like Leroy and Karik before you. A quick hop over, no fancy tricks or anything except for Karik, but you land on the other side, slide a little bit in the wet, slippery snow that's been extra melted by the lightning rail going back and forth, but you stay on your feet. Now, was that everybody? I don't believe the Steel Defenders have gone, at least. The Steel Defender and Titan.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I can have my Titan carry yours over as well. Should be no problem for it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll have my Titan carry both Steel Defenders over.
Alright, and honestly, with the Titan size, it can probably just step over, so that's no problem. So you can manage it.
You know, we
Have
really
the Titan
could have
just
just had the
pick us up
Titan
and
carry
move us.
everyone over now that I think about it.
You know what? No regrets. None of us took
Hindsight's
damage.
2020.
Now, Leroy, you had
Don't
mentioned
talk
a
about
bonfire.
2020.
You had mentioned a bonfire earlier. Did you actually do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody
Just
takes
for
a
the
minute
people
to
who got
just
wet.
quickly dry off the little bit of water that's soaked into the clothes and stuff. It doesn't take long, thanks to the heat of Leroy's magical bonfire. You're all comfortable again in a short time. You still don't see any lightning rails coming,
Goes
but
away.
now the cart is starting to fade off in the distance as you travel. Do you guys continue north?
Oh, now it's working. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
keep going.
Since everybody made it out dry, there are no other issues traveling north. Though, again, it gets dark pretty early.
Earlier than last night?
Even earlier, yes. And those of you, even without amazing perception, start to notice this as well. Especially since it's been pointed out to you and you're kind of looking for it. It's very noticeable. It feels like the day hasn't gone on very long at all yet. But it's already night. Especially for this time of year. It doesn't make sense. And you still have maybe a few hours of travel if you wish, but it is starting to get dusk. You're still a handful of miles away from the edge of the wood.
Does it seem like this is a magical effect?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Spooky woods, spooky woods.
14.
14, huh? Yeah, it doesn't seem like any magical effect that you recognize. I mean, there's definitely some kind of energy here, but and it's magic of some kind, sure. It seems unnatural, sure, but it doesn't seem like a spell you necessarily recognize, nor any arcane effect you recognize necessarily. So it definitely seems unnatural to you, and there's definitely something at work here, but you're not sure if it's.
Wild.
It doesn't seem like a wizard or a mage did this, or other kinds of more arcane magic.
It might just be a more innate property of whatever's around us.
Spooky forest.
Yep.
Spooky forest. Spooky, spooky.
All right,
We're
so
outside.
it is now dusk. You guys are a few miles away from the forest, but you can continue traveling for a few more hours without risking exhaustion. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to stop early due to the light if you wish.
Nah, we ain't chickens.
Yeah, Mama didn't raise no bit.
We can go a few more hours.
Send it.
So you guys continue.
Probably not get into the forest tonight, but you know.
Well, how far away would you guys like to stop from the edge of the forest?
Until we would get exhaustion.
Okay. You'd be
Yeah, push it to the
Or-
limit.
at that
Within
point.
a couple hundred feet.
You could probably make it half a mile or so into the forest if you wanted to push it. as
Oh,
far
maybe
as
at the
you can.
edge of the forest.
Yeah, a couple hundred feet off, just in case, so we can see anything coming.
Okay, just on the edge where there's some scattered trees as you guys approach, but it's not so thick with woods yet that anything feels off, and you can see pretty well in every direction. Because it's just, a tree here or there, some trees that just, their seeds got lucky with the wind blowing things around, or the animals moving just a bit out of the forest. And the trees here are a little bit shorter, but now that you're close to the Duskwood, you can see the trees here are very tall, and even though, in Drost, you actually recognize it quite well from your dreams. Those of you who've dreamed of it do very well. Even though the wood is dead at the moment, and it's winter, there's not really any evergreens that you can see. It's still incredibly dense, as if the wood is made up of mostly the branches of the trees rather than the leaves themselves. And you get the feeling that it will be difficult to get light inside the forest, even during the day.
Well, let's rest up out here, and hopefully we don't have to spend a night in here. Frost, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yes.
I'm fine. Just
Alright.
another forest.
I say we have 2 people on watch every night.
That works.
Well,
Just to be safe.
Leroy doesn't need sleep, so he can take multiple watches, but if you're going to have somebody else, you either want to do shifts, or you're going to want to have somebody take exhaustion from staying up all night.
I'm down to do shifts, like one person, 3 different people can take a shift.
on that yet? No, I haven't. It's fun doing.
Any volunteers?
I'll take a shift. Dross can take a shift.
Nakarth will also take a shift.
Okay, cool. That's 3.
All right. So, first shift.
I'll do a shield in case.
And Leroy, are you forgoing your downtime activities tonight for better perception?
Yeah.
All right. So Leroy and whoever's taking first shift, go ahead and make me perception checks, please. Or one of you can grant advantage to the other. Your choice.
Well, if I hang onto the shield, I can have advantage anyway, so...
I can go first.
All right. Leroy at advantage and Karik a normal roll, please.
Thank goodness for it, because I rolled a 3 and a 19, so that's 22.
19.
19, okay. As you rest for the evening and you make sure that you keep watch over your party, nothing is coming from you from any angle, you begin to just naturally turn your attention into the Duskwood as the night progresses, not because of any forceful will of the forest or anything mysterious like that, but just because it's pretty easy to see out across the plains. You would see something coming, you're sure of it. But the forest, even though you're kind of on the edge of it and a little ways away from it, there's places for things to hide there. There's trees around you, even though they're sparse. Who knows what could be coming from there. And as you look, you begin to see some wildlife moving around, though not much. It is winter and many things are hibernating, but you see occasional movement from tree to tree. Some things jumping around. The occasional bird going out looking for food, perhaps. Which is somewhat strange considering it's evening, and as you watch this, you realize that during the dusk as you're approaching, you didn't see any movement. Now that it's night, you do see movement. And you got a 22, Leroy, you said?
Yeah.
With your excellent dark vision and you and good perception roll in general, you happen to notice that in the distance up north, just barely as a moon passes over the right spot on the horizon, you see a little plume of smoke.
In which direction, you said?
To the north.
North. A plume of smoke, such as one might find coming out of the top of a cottage.
It definitely looks like it is, either stove or bonfire sized.
I'll
since
point it out
it's
to
visible from this distance,
watching
and
with me.
you judge it's maybe only a day's travel away or so.
Yeah, I will point that out to whoever's watching with me right now, which is that Faye?
It's Carrick.
Carrick.
Carrick will like squint his eyes and peer at him. Oh yeah. Right. Is there like a flame that I can see associated with it?
Is there a what you can see?
Like a flame if I like follow it down?
If you follow it down, you don't see any flame, but you are able to see it once Lyra points it out to you. Just a little plume of smoke in the distance. And as the moon begins to shift a little bit farther away, it becomes a little bit more difficult to see as the light shifts. It was like the light hitting it at just the right point that Leroy called it out.
Gotcha. Did it seem like it was coming from the forest itself, or was it coming from like the forest?
It seemed like it was coming from within the forest itself.
Yeah, I think this is probably that cottage we've been seeing, or hearing about. Just think it's just a destination.
Anything else you guys
Watch
want to...
actually is like.
What's up? Sorry?
Oh, I said I feel like this is what Watch is actually like.
Yes,
just sitting here silently.
Right. So if that's the end of that conversation, then you move on and just kind of keep watch in that general direction, but, still keeping an eye out of the area around you, making sure that nothing nefarious approaches you. And the watch passes peacefully.
Carrick will,
Next.
he'll wake up Dross.
Yeah, boy.
Alright, Drost and Leroy, make me your perception checks, as you would.
Alright, I rolled it a while ago and I haven't looked at it yet, just for shits. Oh lord. That's a 6 total.
Perfect.
20 total.
Alright. And as it gets deeper into the night, it begins to rain. And it begins to get a little bit colder. Not ideal for keeping watch, unfortunately. And most of the wildlife seems to, kind of rush home, if you could imagine. As things move around for a brief bit, quite a bit more once the rain starts. And then as the rain settles in, the movement of the forest begins to settle in as well. And as your watch grows longer, the rain grows heavier. But otherwise, your watch passes uneventfully.
Thank you, Rost.
Drost, are you waking up?
I don't remember who volunteered. So Nakarth is next.
That's why I asked, just in case you didn't. Alright.
That's
Nakarth.
like-
I'm pretty sure it was Nakara.
Yeah, I think
It
so
wasn't
too.
Nakarth?
but I just wanted to make Drost remember.
Dross can't remember who volunteered, but he doesn't care. He just wants to wake up Nakarth.
Perfect.
Wait, did we sell that urn that shoots like amazing amounts of water?
Oh no.
No.
If it's in one of your
Alchemy
inventories.
It wasn't an
Or,
alchemy jug specifically. It was like,
Decanter of endless water.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and I currently have it.
All right, just checking.
I mean, everybody's kind of soaked right now anyways.
Yeah, no reason
Oh,
to
to be
add
fair.
to the misery.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
forgot to make
fire going.
Whoops.
I believe you guys would
Oh,
have
there
made
it's
it. I mean,
okay.
unless you guys would have specified not to.
No,
I
we
would
would
kind of
have.
assume.
Default.
It's winter.
Yeah.
So there's a fire going, which is keeping you all warm, but I mean, there's constant, pretty heavy rain going at this point, and it's not pleasant. So Nakareth, you're up now.
All right, wonderful.
Perception
I will-
checks, please.
Do my watch. Oh, fuck me.
Oh, I don't like the way that sounded.
7.
8.
I roll a 3.
I rolled a 2 and a 5.
Oh boy. Well, so Nakareth, you get shaken awake, and Leroy, you're keeping watch still, but you're keeping a lot harder watch than you usually do tonight, and it's kind of tiring, and you're starting to wear out a little bit, especially with the rain. The cold doesn't necessarily bother you as a Warforged, but the constant sounds and the plinking of the rain against your metal body and just the sounds of it against the forest itself is making it hard to focus on anything in particular. And Nakareth, you're having a similar experience. Despite being just woken up, it is cold, and you are wet, and it's freezing. You're chilled to the bone, and it's just... You kind of get distracted just sitting by the fire trying to warm yourself up while you're quote-unquote keeping watch.
Miserable.
It's miserable. But none of you see anything coming, and indeed nothing comes.
Oh, thank God.
And so your watch has passed. Everybody has completed a long rest.
Late is dawn.
We make it through another night.
At this point, though, despite it being now somewhat late enough in the morning that you would expect the sun to probably be up by now, it's not. And it is raining. And that doesn't help you determine whether or not the sun is even properly up right now, because the sky is very overcast with heavy dark clouds. It's light out enough for those of you without dark vision to see around you a bit. It's dim light, but you can manage.
This is terrible.
Hmm.
I miss being above the clouds.
Yeah, it's not ideal. But adventure awaits, I guess.
Drost, make me a perception check.
Okay. I can do that. I can roll perception. 12?
As you're saying that and getting up and kind of, stretching the morning and looking around, you happen to glance into the forest. And you see a crow. Just one.
Mother bitch.
Sitting on a branch looking at you.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
Nobody else sees it
Oh.
yet.
I'll point it out. Oh, that right there.
As
That's
you,
one of the things.
as you point it out, it flutters into the forest and disappears.
Yeah. There was a crow on the branch. That's one of the things from my dream. It was above my corpse.
Oh, wonderful.
Lovely.
Portents, omens.
Why are we going in here? To remind me?
The main thing that we've
There's-
seen is a cabin or a little hut.
Yes, a witch's hut.
Well, we don't know if that's the case at all.
We don't.
It's prejudiced.
In the spooky forest with the crows and my dead body.
No, you're right. It's a witch.
It might be a witch.
You're right, I was wrong to be suspicious.
No, I think suspicion is a natural form of self-defense in a situation like this. You should be extraordinarily careful. I believe her cottage is in that direction, and I point towards where the plume of smoke was.
I think that's the best we have to follow now.
That's a little weird that you know that.
Oh, I think she was cooking someone or something last night. There was a smoke.
Oh, well, let's hurry over then. We don't want her to get too hungry.
Remember when you had the vision of yourself dead? Maybe tone it down with these jokes if the witch is listening.
Well, no, but his corpse was still there, so it's not like she was going to eat him.
She wouldn't like me. I'm all tough and gamey.
That's why she left you outside.
Exactly. Now you, and he's gonna poke Faye. Soft.
Oh,
It's so hairy.
Don't worry, hair comes off.
Alright.
Not hairy.
So, do you guys head in?
Yeah.
Pack up and head out? Alright.
Sure.
As you progress into the forest, things get darker. Still enough for you to see, but enough for it to be uncomfortably dark. Like, permanent dusk.
Ooh. Kills the breeze.
Everything around you is hard to see for those of you without dark vision, but you can see to your normal distances. But it's not like light far away from you is harder to see. Everything is just kind of gray and dim. Almost like there's a bit of fog over your eyes or something, but it's not blurry. Milos, make me a perception check.
Advance cautiously.
That's a 16.
As you guys are moving forward, Milos, you hear a twig snap behind you. No one else hears this. Do you turn to look, or do you ignore it?
I turn to look.
So you look behind you, just in the trail behind you, in your footsteps. But quite a ways back is a dark horse.
I will mention the horse to the party, that it seems to be following us.
As you turn back to the party to get someone's attention, grab someone's shoulder, and then point back again, it's gone.
Well, guess we keep walking.
Didn't someone's dream involve a horse? If I recall correctly.
Yes, Milos did.
Yes.
Ah, wonderful.
Well, the dream
As a reminder.
connection has been confirmed.
Since Milos did explain to the party, just as a DM reminder, Milos saw a dark horse basically bludgeon the young girl that Faye saw to death.
Okay. Another sinister animal. Good to know.
Good, good.
Do you guys continue?
I suppose.
That's what adventurers do, right? Ignore every warning sign.
Ignore every warning sign. Keep going.
Alright, as you guys
High risk,
move
high
along,
reward.
everybody make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Woohoo!
Jesus.
I believe I have advantage.
That's a 20. We take these.
Oh, baby Jesus, please.
21.
No. 3.
15.
Is this a charm?
This is not a charm.
Ooh.
If it matters for abilities and stuff, this is a fear.
My first thought was like, why would you just ask that?
Oh, it's because I have Fey ancestry.
Yeah, no, I realized after a second, I'm like, oh, wait.
4.
Okay. And
Yeah,
I guess I'll ask this as well. This morning, Milos, did you, or Karik rather, did you switch back to your Steel Defender to enter the forest? I would assume so, since it's too dense for your Titan.
Yeah, he would switch to a Steel Defender.
Okay, so you just left your Titan back at the campsite. Alright. Karik and Drost were the only two to fail. You guys are both currently afraid. Just of the forest in general. So you have, the normal disadvantage on ability checks while you're inside of the forest.
Disability checks. Which one do you lose?
We have too much
Whatever
money to
else
get
is
this.
fear. It's I think it's attack rolls and stuff too. Whatever else.
I
is.
mean, yeah, let me look. D&D.
Who's afraid along with Drost?
Carrick.
Oh, Carrick.
Frightened. You can't
Disadvantage on
willingly.
ability.
I'll ignore the you can't willingly move closer to it because every direction is closer to it at the moment.
Yeah.
Um,
So just permanent disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls because we are in the forest.
yes, unless you find some way to get rid of the fear.
Nice.
Could I attempt to guide him through like meditative bullshit with stillness of mind?
It
like,
depends on how Drost
mind
responds
link?
to it and if you notice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I say
You
we
wanna-
stop and have a hero's feast right
Do you
now.
wanna- Do you want to try to meditate with me?
I'll try.
No, I was asking Kieran if you wanted to attempt to get Drost to meditate.
Oh no, I'll wait until you go and batshit crazy with fear.
All right, good.
Because so far, neither of you have responded to the fear. You're just very afraid. Maybe you're sweating a little bit more. Maybe you're looking around in a paranoid way. But unless one of you lets the others know.
Character's definitely looking around all over the place, ducking from things that aren't there. He's freaked out, visibly.
Hey, you okay over there?
No, something's up. Something's wrong.
Well, this place is unsettling. Here, let's try something. As I forge our, mind link, the telepathy, and then try to influence his emotions with stillness of mind. I don't know if that's probably not really possible, but
You reach out to his mind, and immediately upon coming in contact with it, Nikarth, you sense the fear within him, and it's a very intense fear, and it's pretty difficult for you to even push into that fear. Do you push farther?
yes.
Make me a wisdom save.
Okay. I have advantage because 2 minds, and I got a 22.
22, okay. You push past this fear. This fear can't be real. This is unnatural. There's something causing this fear. There's no reason to be afraid. I mean, it's a spooky forest, but this is an unnatural level of fear for the environment. And so you ignore it, and you push farther, and you make a connection with Karik's mind. And you're able to speak with his mind more directly, not filtered through the fear, not filtered through the paranoia. What do you say to him?
Oh boy. Didn't think I'd get this far.
Yeah, let's hear some inspiration. Let's go.
Say, oh boy. What words to start with?
Sorry. I feel like I'll do the serene monk, just be still, and try to soothe his emotions and normalize his, encourage him to breathe deep and best reflect stillness of mind as I can, because you can use an action to end one effect on. Well, it's on yourself, but if he's
Yeah, I won't let that work, but I'll let you roll me a persuasion roll
oh fuck me.
to try and talk him out of it.
All right, 3. That don't work.
So as you've managed to make this strong connection with Karik, and it's you have this deep understanding of why he's afraid, but unfortunately, it's not something you have a lot of experience with. Nikarth has experience with some paranoia and such, as he's, due to who he is, but this kind of unnatural fear is something that's always come natural to you, piercing through, and you're not sure how to find the words, how to talk him out of it.
Shit. Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. I don't think I can help. Sorry.
No worries, you did your best.
Yeah, well. Unless someone else can, Faye, do you have anything that can help calm emotions? Perhaps?
I can. Hold on.
Or help with fear, specifically?
Oh wait, I think I do. Carrick will cast heroism on himself,
Okay.
and I am immune to being frightened for a minute.
Okay, so you end the effect on yourself. After Nakarth reaches out to you, and even though he couldn't find the words to say to you, he offers you a moment of clarity, and you realize you have a way to deal with this yourself, and you do so. With magic. How does Carrick cast heroism? Do you have like a drug you take out or a potion you drink or
Liquid courage.
Drugs.
liquid courage is a good way to do it.
It's almost like a smelling salt. He like opens up a bag and like takes a big whiff.
Perfect.
Yep, we know what that is. We know what that is. He knows no fear.
Cocaine.
A willing creature you touch is imbued with bravery. That is the first line of.
Yep. You are super
Yep.
brave.
Yep, that's it.
Alright, you'll watch Carrick take this big whiff out of this little pouch he has, and then he kind of shakes his whole body off, and he's good to go. He's no longer looking around him, and he's ready to go. He's focused and determined.
All right, I feel better. Dross, do you need some of this?
Very well.
He just like grabs
Take a
little
big
bit of
ol'
the
snort.
Yeah, there you go.
Except it's like a frighteningly long time. Mark was like, or he's like,
Just keeps inhaling.
perfect. Josh is just,
just the lung capacity of a Goliath, just continually inhaling for a bit, yeah.
you're just like, oh god, that's a lot.
I'm worried about that.
So, Drost, you are no longer afraid either.
Dross about to start coughing hard.
Better.
Alright. With that taken care of, do you guys continue?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Time
Alright.
for 1
Hi,
minute to pass,
fucking
and then it
alert.
happens again.
Maybe crack him.
Alright.
I think once you
A minute.
no, that's metagame.
A minute does pass, and Drost and Kark make me that wisdom save again, as the magic
Oh,
wears off.
okay.
Everyone else is immune because they passed the save. You guys
Yes.
magically ended it.
I nat 20'd it the second time.
All right, Drost
Fucking
is
got an
still not
11.
afraid. That's enough to pass. Kark is okay.
Oh shit! Yes.
Oh, this place is just mildly creepy.
You guys, with the trust in your companions, and as they are traveling with you, the extra minute of time that Carrick's spell has provided you, you get enough time seeing your companions are not afraid, that it inspires some confidence in you guys as well.
Afraid.
Yeah.
And so
Josh
you
just
continue.
needs to be reminded he's the best.
At this point, it's the brightest it's been all day. It's still not bright, so to speak, because there's very little light filtering in through the trees, and it's very diffused and bouncing off of different tree branches, and only a few patches here and there actually completely break through the canopy. But at the same time, this thick canopy is also somewhat shielding you from the rain as you get deeper and deeper into the dense forest. The snow at your feet is pretty wet, and that's pretty uncomfortable, but at least there's no more snow on your cloaks, your shoulders, your heads, anything like that. And as you walk, you eventually see a cabin ahead of you, off in the distance. You barely catch it, and by you, I mean Nakareth, Karik, Milos, and Leroy. Assuming Leroy still has the shield.
I think Drost has that.
Then Drost would notice it instead.
Yeah.
Barely, just through the trees, like, you can hardly make it out because the color kind of blends in with the other woods around it and stuff, but there's something ahead of you that's not a tree, and as you kind of shift back and forth while you're walking, tilt your head this way and that way, try to get a better look at it, it looks like some kind of structure, some kind of cabin. It's quite a ways off still, but you're getting closer. You think that Leroy's direction that he gave you was correct. Do you guys just go right up to it, or do you stop anywhere along the way?
How long does it take to make a lot of Molotov cocktails?
How much alcohol do you have on you, and how much is a lot?
None, Nakarth drank it all.
Fuck, we had plenty.
Sorry.
I remember you guys leaving passage without any, but the alchemy joke was providing you guys with wine as needed, or something like that.
I don't think wine's as good for Molotovs.
Likely
If I remember
Oh,
correctly.
wine's not very
No.
flammable.
So you got stuff to drink, but you're not really going to be making any Molotov cocktails.
Mocktails.
Mocktails, yes.
Molotov mocktails. It's just
Mocktails would be
it's just
way
fruit
more
juice in a bottle with
interesting
a rag.
if that was what they meant.
Now, your artificers may have some explosive spells that they use through potions or other means, but you're not going to craft anything extra at the moment.
We don't have fireball yet.
Do we want to just sneak up or just walk
Sneak
up, hold his brass?
And what is the point of sneaking up? She knows we're here.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think
Men can be witches too.
do not prepare for battle. We're not here to exterminate.
Yes. Investigate. Prime directive. What?
Please do let me lead the way here. It was my dream.
Of course.
And I'm the talker.
Go figure
Follow
out.
your dreams.
Yes, go figure out why she's in your dreams.
Oh man. Follow your dreams. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna approach.
Is everybody following behind Faye?
Yeah.
Alright, so Faye's taking the lead.
Eric is gonna take special care to keep an eye out to make sure nothing is going after Dross.
Okay. Make me a perception check.
Ooh, that is a 21.
Alright. So you scan the environment around you. It's kind of strange. The trees are very dense, and you see kind of the remains of a lot of foliage in the undercanopy, the subcanopy here, that is covered with snow and mostly dead from the winter, but everything is eerily still in all directions except for ahead of you towards this cabin. What is the rest of the marching order, please? Faye is in the front. The path that you guys are on, that you're kind of traveling, that is about 10 feet wide, so you guys could stand two abreast if you wish. Kind of a winding path that kind of curves between the trees and such.
I don't know. I'll go wherever I filter in.
Drost, why don't you go in the back line just in case something jumps up at us? You can run them forward.
Carrick will sit in the back with Dross then.
Well, somewhere in the middle.
And I'll take front line with Faye.
Okay.
My list will be somewhere in the middle.
Here I am, stuck in the middle.
The face up front and the asses in the rear.
Alright.
Faye's
So-
gonna turn her head backwards and just say, when we get to the cabin, just give me a little bit of space, please.
I just had a mental image of Faye just owling her head backward. Yeah.
Oh no.
She's a changeling. She could do that. We don't know.
All right.
Just fucking with everyone knowing they're afraid.
So as you approach, you get closer. You start to notice that the area ahead of you is a little bit lighter, noticeably lighter, but not like so much that it becomes bright light or anything. And you start to notice that the area this cabin is built in is a small clearing. And as you get closer, you notice that the area around the cabin appears to be mostly mud rather than snow, as if the snow is melted off by some heat. And it's in a weird pattern. It's not like a radius around the hut like it would be from a flame or something. It's kind of an organic blob in all directions. And from the mud, there are thorny roots springing up and curling back into the mud in different directions. And Faye, Faye and Leroy, since you're at the head, give me a perception check.
Thanks. 19.
Alright. Leroy, you notice as you get closer, Faye is very focused on preparing what she's going to say, preparing what she's going to do here, and trying to think of the best way to approach the situation. In this completely unknown environment, there's so many possibilities, it's distracting. But Leroy, you have time to look around, and you see around outside this hut, which is circular, but with a few protruding box-like areas that appear to have been added on afterwards. And it's a bit raised above the terrain around it, with a ladder up to the door, and a small porch in front. It appears to be built originally around some kind of tree, but the tree doesn't appear to be whole anymore. It appears to be even more dead than the other trees around it. More like it's a rotting tree now, more than just a winter hibernating tree. And around the outside of the hut, there's a few stones here and there. One of them is next to a pile of firewood. And you notice with your good perception roll, there's a bit of blood in the mud next to this stone, next to the firewood, and a bloody axe leaning up against it. All of the windows and the doors to the hut are closed, and you see several from here. There's one rather large door at the front, and you see off to the sides there's a couple windows scattered here and there, but all of them are closed by some sort of... It's not really boarded shut, but it's as if like a swinging... The windows themselves have little doors that close over them from the inside. And so I will move you guys to that map.
Yes.
Might take a second to load, but I think it should be good now.
It's in for me.
All right.
I'm here.
Alright.
Oh, what a cute little black shadow-shaped cottage.
Yep, can't see inside yet. But you do see the ladder to get in, and the whole shape of it, like I said, there's a little bit of a roof that curls up to the middle, and then in this rough area is where kind of the remains of a tree sprout upwards. But it seems very rotted and kind of like it's tilting and falling over a bit.
So, is the house itself raised, or just the entrance and then that platform to it?
The house itself is raised above the area around it. It's kind of like a house on stilts. You can see underneath
like
it.
For flooding.
Yeah. I mean, and there's like, the tree in the middle kind of blocks your view a bit because the roots go down, and it's a very large tree, but I suppose if I designed this map better, you guys would be able to see in this general direction. But in these areas back here, it's really just more snow and mud and roots and trees and stuff.
Okay. So
you can see the house is only about this deep.
Okay. How far, like, what can we see underneath?
The underneath of the house is the tree roots from the tree that goes up into the house, and then a lot of this similar muddy area with these kind of thornier looking roots. There's roots from the trees around you that look more normal, but these are especially like nasty looking. And everywhere there's one of these thorny roots, snow has melted around it.
Okay.
Oops. Misclick.
So
The house is raised maybe 10 feet in the air with that ladder there.
okay. Do I have any sense of why this tree would be so much more corrupted than the others?
Make me a perception, or... Yeah, perception or nature, your choice. I'll say that.
Alright. Oh, hey, my nature's actually dope. I'll go with nature. Not that it matters. 15.
All right. Looking at the tree above and the tree below the house, you are able to notice, even though there's not much tree you can see below the house, the bits of tree that are below the house look a lot healthier than the bits of tree above the house. It's not quite as rotted out or twisted. It just appears like it was some kind of large tree that grew here. And perhaps they built this house around it as a tree house.
Inside is... Yeah. So I think perhaps whoever's in that house is drawing their energy from this tree. See, it's healthy underneath.
Strange. Yeah, it's...
Yes.
I'm wary, but
I mean,
inside.
is this where we call out and see what happens?
I was going to suggest maybe Faye just knocks on the door.
That's my plan.
Okay.
All right. How far back do you want us to stick?
I'll stay at the bottom of the ladder. I feel like this is gonna go sideways.
After seeing this, I want one person up with me at the door.
Sure, I can do that, and
Yeah.
we can do our insight bullshit.
Yes.
All right. Roll over 30. While they're doing this, I'd like to get like a little scouting around the building, but not like a terrible amount.
Sure, you can move yourself wherever you want. Everywhere there's trees on the edges here, it gets a lot denser and harder to see, but this is the little clearing here in which you can move around pretty freely. The mud as you step into it is pretty nasty, but you're able to walk on it. And as you get closer to the roots, you're decent. I guess you don't have the shield anymore, but you still have you don't have like negative perception, right?
My perception is +3.
+3, perfect. You're plenty. You would notice that these roots do give off a tiny bit of heat for some reason. You're not entirely certain why, and they have a pretty nasty odor to them.
More than just being alive.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of it's like the smell of like rotten vegetables and things like that, and there's a little bit of heat being generated by it. Obviously, it's melted all the snow around wherever there's roots, pretty much. All right, Faye and Nakareth, are you guys knocking at the door or attempting to open it?
Faye is going to knock on the door.
Okay.
I will keep my hands to myself.
I just had one quick question.
Uh-huh.
Have I seen anything like those roots from the Demon Wastes?
Make me a nature check.
That's a terrifying sentence.
Yeah.
13.
Nothing that you recognize from where you live, and nothing you really recognize in general, but they do seem pretty nasty to you, and you've seen some nasty things in the Demon Waste, but you don't recognize these in particular.
Okay, that's all I need.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Faye knocks the door, and as she does, you don't hear any stirring from inside. But Drost, you're distracted from your looking at the roots by a crow that flies in from over here and just perches itself right on the roof, right here, over the door. Just sits there.
He'll
Cracks at it.
say, "Hey, above you."
All right. Do
Two.
I notice what Dross is pointing to?
Once he points it out to you, you see it. It's there above the door frame, above the doorway on the roof, a little bit in this direction. It's kind of off to the side a little bit, so you're still able to see it if you kind of careen your head around the side of the house a little bit. So the roof doesn't overhang too much. And it's kind of right on the edge.
All right, so is making the deduction at what might be happening here, and I'm just still kind of in front of the door, but I'm gonna kind of look at the crow and say, "Hello, I mean no harm. I'm here because of weirdly something I saw in a dream. And I'm hoping I might be able to speak to whoever's taking up residence here."
The crow continues to look at Drost.
That's unsettling.
At this point, though, Faye, you do start to hear some movement inside. It's slow, but I guess Nakarath hears it first, and then Faye does after a little bit more noise picks up. You hear something shifting around, you hear some muttering. Unfortunately, you're not able to pick up exactly what's being said. Nakarath, you're not sure you even recognize the language that's being spoken.
Perhaps we should get down.
Or knock again.
Let me double check Nakarath's languages real quick. No,
Celestial and Kiori.
You do not recognize the language being spoken.
And,
but it's being muttered, and it's not in a harsh tone. Maybe a annoyed tone is what you would get with your, I'll say, quote-unquote, passive insight.
So I was assuming it was a spell coming our way.
You can still assume that if you want. If the first syllable is spoken, you could assume that.
Meteor swarm.
I will just brace myself and take the dodge action.
Okay.
And wait patiently.
Faye, you hear a few things shuffle around inside as you're not sure what. Maybe some furniture moving around or something. A bit of clanking of metal. And then just something very faint that you can't quite even detect. And then Karth just suddenly sits into a crouch and brings his fists up, ready for something to hit.
Yeah, there's someone coming. But I can't understand them.
Those of you still on the ground floor outside, you start to see a little bit of smoke arise from over in this area. As kind of part of the roof kind of creaks open slightly, as if by some kind of strange pulley system has raised up a few of the tiles of the roof and then locked them in place. But you don't see any pulleys, but it's just a weird creaking sound as parts of the roof kind of move a bit.
Something moved over there.
Oh dear.
Sorry, what was that? I'm in a staring contest with a bird.
I guess Dross might
don't
not
worry about it.
notice
Win the
that.
contest.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I had a sea invisibility. But instead I have the normal land version.
And actually, are you taking a really close look at it, Leroy?
Yeah.
Make me a perception check. So you are one of the people that can see here better than anyone else right now because of your dark vision.
Yeah, but I rolled a 7, so...
7, yeah. Can't really make any details out from right here. Maybe if you got a better vantage or something.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything's coming out of it.
Just smoke.
Okay. Guys, I'm gonna go take a closer look.
It is from the roof, so it's maybe 20 feet in the air over here. You can just barely see it on the edge of the roof, these things. So if you wanted to climb a tree or something to get a better vantage, you could.
These are pretty accessible trees.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty slick from the freezing rain and such, but I mean, they're probably pretty climbable, especially some of them that are smaller.
I'm going to... Sorry.
No, go ahead. That was to myself.
I wanted to instruct my still defender to follow Leroy and come back to me if anything bad happens to him.
Okay. So he will do so. At this point, Nakareth and Faye, you do hear some more commotion from the inside. It's growing a little bit louder now. Not like louder as in more aggressive, but louder as in there's more going on at once. More voices, more things moving.
Oh dear.
Nakareth, you hear a faint whistle.
I would like to cast Fly on myself instead of climbing a tree.
From inside?
From inside, yes. Okay. Okay, Leroy. You may.
There's more than...
I'll target the Steel Defender as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll let Faye know everything I hear. And be like, so are you... Should we move yet or no? 9.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
Leroy,
open the door.
at this point you can see how high up above the roof do you fly, or just equal with it?
Enough to look down inside.
Okay. Make me a perception check with advantage.
21.
21. Okay. Now that you're closer and you have a better vantage point on these tiles that have moved, you can see that the structure that was holding the tiles together is not planks of wood, but it looks like tendrils of wood, like roots or branches. And it appears that those have curled up in order to let the smoke out.
Shit, this thing's alive. Can I see anything inside?
The smoke obscures it pretty well, unfortunately, at this point, as whatever fire is inside has grown a little bit brighter. And indeed, the smoke does kind of have a bit of light to it because of the light coming from up below it.
You know, they could just be druids.
Yeah. Say, did you knock a second time?
Yes.
Perhaps call inside.
At this point, Nakara, you hear footsteps on the other side of the door. A little bit of jingling.
I'm gonna
A
regain my
chain,
spell slot
and
with my
Faye,
staff.
you would hear this now as well, now that it's this close. A chain kind of jingling against the door and sliding out of the way. And then the door creaks open a little bit. And you see 2 red eyes peer out through the crack in the door.
Dear.
Yes, hello. How can I help you? You come all this way, I'm sorry, we didn't expect visitors at this time of day. We were all sleeping.
Hello, I'm here, as odd as it may sound, because of something I saw in a dream, and it just felt meaningful. Could you tell me who you are?
Make me a persuasion check. At advantage from your feet, I'll say. Not that you need it. Jeez.
Well, not that the 27. Yeah.
Alright.
Well, myself and my sisters live out here. I am Olga. My sisters, Penny and Agnes, live here with me. We've lived here for... Oh boy, I've lost track of the years at this point.
Hmm.
You said you saw something.
Yeah, and particularly, do you and your sisters have a niece? Anyone, granddaughter? Anyone young in your family who you take care of? So that was a part of my dream, and I was hoping I could meet her.
A niece, you say? Like a very young girl?
Yes, a young child.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're just us 3 sisters. None of us ever married. None of us ever had a lover. And, well, we didn't have any brothers, so this is all of us here. This is likely to be the end of our family line.
Insight check.
Go ahead.
Oh, same. Yeah, may I also?
You may both. You are both having this conversation.
All right. 18 plus what? 7? Yeah, 25.
There's multiple parts of that statement to focus on, but with the excellent rolls you guys got there, I'll give you the answers for each part.
Whew.
You feel like she's telling the truth, that it's just her 3 sisters there. You're not sure if the rest is truthful. Seems fishy.
Hmm.
Anyways, I see you have some friends down there with you. We were just putting on a pot of tea. Should I have them put it on a little more full?
Carrick waves.
Oh, actually.
That would be great. Yeah, we'd love to. We'd love to join you, all of us.
Hmm.
All right.
Very well. Agnes, put on a little more tea. We have company.
How many of there are you? She kind of turns back to face you, and as she says that, the door kind of creaks open a little bit farther. She turns away towards Agnes, wherever Agnes is, and kind of just the motion of her body turning opens the door farther, and you see, besides her red eyes, she also has very red skin, which was hard to see in the dim light. Her skin is very wrinkly and drawn back. She has 2 horns that curl back over her ears and down, like horns of a ram. And long, silvery hair that's kind of knotted and flows down her back, and she's wearing a black, dark cloak. And then she turns back, and as she does, the door swings a little bit farther closed as she tries to put just her eyes in the doorway.
Shall we be joining you inside, or do you have a space elsewhere where you'd like us all to meet? I'd love to hear more about this place. It seems important to me.
Hold on. Drost, how did you... What? Oh, no, never mind. We're good.
What?
I was confused for a second. We're good. Okay.
I didn't do anything.
No, I saw your mouse on the house for some reason. I thought, how did Drost's token get in there? I can't even see it. I'm like, wait a minute. No, okay, we're good. All right.
I'm a sneaky boy.
Yes.
As a
Yes.
ninja.
How many of there are you again?
I start approaching.
Just start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
6. Very well.
And at that point, she kind of closes the door for a second. You hear a few more chains rattle and open. And then she throws the door open. And begins to walk into the room.
Well, I suppose we'll enter.
That's a comforting pattern.
Oh, that's
you notice
creepy.
when you enter the room, there's no trunk of a tree in the middle of the room here. The whole room is hollow. It's one big circle.
Oh
Interesting.
boy.
All the rest of you coming inside? I assume you did because of,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have just pushed past.
Bop.
The one over here is trying to kind of set up some tables and chairs and stuff on this side of the room. But the one that greeted you says,
Peggy, I wouldn't bother. I think there's too many of us for us to take seating anyway, so I think it's better if we all just stand.
How tall are these ceilings?
about 10, 12 feet tall.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
These are large creatures.
It's taller in the middle.
Oh no, just kidding. I just zoomed in a lot.
This one over here, it currently has a pot or a kettle over this flame here and is making tea. But as you enter and as the tea begins to boil, it's not particularly pleasant. It kind of smells like the roots outside. It smells like rotting vegetables that has filled this room. The wood floors at your feet are not in particularly good shape either. There's holes and rot in them. There's kind of sacks and things, supplies kind of scattered, and some of them have knocked over and spilled.
As Carrot walks into the room, he's going to tell Patch to stay outside the door, and if anything starts coming towards the house that seems threatening, to bark very loudly and scratch the door.
Okay. And as you say that, does Neko come inside? Okay.
George?
Yes.
Yeah, Neko moved.
Oh, you brought him in. Oh, okay.
And so as you say that, and as Patch stays behind, the doors close behind you without anyone touching them.
Drust will enter and stand on the right over here, and just kind of stand there with his arms crossed, like head almost touching the ceiling.
Did the doors slam, or was it like? Did
it was
they
pretty
just shut
gentle, but
themselves?
they creaked pretty loudly.
Okay.
Were they well tuned or just a random note?
Just a random note. In fact, both doors were a different note, so it was kind of a discordance.
Oh, I can just
But
click
they-
on. Just a note. I can just click on doors and open them randomly. Like,
I guess I could.
Oh,
'cause I
that's
haven't-
pretty sick.
Well,
ta-da.
I was supposed to lock those, so don't, please.
Oh,
It's a
Right.
light show.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I'll try to remember that for next time.
I was like, oh, what is this? I click it. Ooh, a door.
Yeah, it's a good feature. For doors that are supposed to be unlocked, that is a handy thing, but I forgot to do that. At this point, the one who has been referred to as Agnes approaches you, Leroy, with a tray with teacups on it. All of the teacups are pretty chipped and don't look particularly well cleaned. But she holds the tray out towards you. Would you like some tea?
I'd love some tea. I take a cup and sip some, and I'd like to know if it tastes poisonous.
Okay. Taking a sip. Make me a Constitution save.
I am immune to poison. Oh,
This
sorry,
is-
I'm immune to disease. I'm resistant to poison.
Yes, you have advantage against poison, but this is not against poison.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Constitution
This was-
save. 9.
Joy.
9.
9.
You begin to take a sip of it, and it's hot and it's very unpleasant, and you are trying to fight the urge to spit it back out, and you barely hold it back.
I want to know why
This
that
is
wasn't a
nasty.
charisma saving throw. It was for manners.
Well, it's so nasty, it's overwhelming, is the issue. She goes down to Nakara. Some tea.
Okay, and I'll take a cup and feign taking a sip.
Make me
I'm
a
gonna
sleight
warn
of
everyone
hand.
else to brace themselves.
Uh-oh.
Just let it cool.
It's about
No,
the
it's not
flavor.
necessarily the heat. It's just, it smells nasty, it tastes nasty, it tastes worse than it smells.
Oh, I mean to avoid taking a sip, but
Oh,
yes.
yes.
18 total?
18 total, okay. Yep, she doesn't seem to notice.
Oh, wonderful.
Could you pass one to your friend in the back there, and would you like one as well? To you, Kark.
Kark is gonna be like, I'm fine. I honestly, I don't like hot drinks.
Make me a deception check. Or persuasion, I guess, your choice, depending on what Kark's actual preferences are.
I don't think it actually matters. That's a 5.
Oh, come on.
You can't be joking with me. Everyone loves hot drinks, especially at this time of the year. It must be bitter cold out. It's been raining all day. Now look at you. You're soaked through. Come on, take some tea.
He'll have a tiny sip.
Okay, and do you hand one back to Milos?
Yeah.
The betrayal.
Why would you do this to me?
Alright, both try Constitution saves.
Oh, that's a 22.
Ooh, that's a natural one for a 6.
Alright, Milos. Make me a sleight of hand check then. And Karak, you're fine. You managed to choke it down and pass it off like nothing's wrong.
Ooh, that's a natural 2.
So you get this irresistible urge to spit it out. And then you try to hide yourself behind Karak as you do so. And you end up just kind of like stumbling into him a bit and kind of pushing him out of the way. And so she sees you clearly just spit it on the floor.
Oh.
I
Not to your
apologize.
tastes, then. And
Kind of cackles.
I'm not one for tea.
I see.
She kind of seems puzzled at this.
I
if-
just
as if-
interject and
As if who
Sorry, go
wouldn't be one for tea? But she moves on.
I just chuckle and say, "Oh, yeah, this happens all the time. He's just trying to be polite."
He's trying to be polite.
We didn't want to refuse your generosity.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you, sir. Would you like some tea, miss?
Yes, thank you kindly. And I'm just gonna hold the cup and kind of like, just like kind of hold it near my face, like feel the warmth and just like let it cool a little bit.
Okay, make me a deception check. At advantage.
I can't stop these rolls.
Alright. Yep. Doesn't seem to care or notice. Seems pleased that you're enjoying the warmth.
Oh, you, big sir. I'm sure you're already quite used to the cold out there, but would you like some tea anyways?
I don't see why not. I'll reach down with two huge fingers and pick up the tiny cup. And then I'll just hold it between my hands.
Okay. So, make me a deception check as well if you're not drinking it.
Do I have to pretend to not drink it? He was just gonna not drink it.
Oh, she's watching you expectantly.
I'm just standing and looking back at her.
Okay. She seems puzzled again.
I'll wait like
Yeah.
10 seconds and be like, thank you.
You're welcome. You're a bit of an odd group, aren't you? Well, I guess I can't be surprised. I suppose we haven't seen visitors in quite some time out here. I guess I don't know what to expect. But...
And she begins to return the tray over here. And the one who originally greeted you, Olga, returns. With Penny coming in from the other side.
So, now that we've showed you our hospitality, what brings you here, I should say? You said you were looking for a young girl. I can't remember the last time we've had any visitors out here besides you.
Yes, we it just felt very definite. In fact, I was nearly certain I'd find this girl out here. And instead here you are, and I thought family for certain. Is there anyone else in these woods that you know of?
In these woods? Well, there's a town of sorts up to the north, but it's a few days' travel away. Suppose there's a small family of druids off to the west, but again, they're almost, maybe maybe almost a week's travel away, depending on the weather, how quickly you can move. Nothing extremely nearby, no. We have our servant who lives here with us as well, but he's out collecting wood for us, you see.
Quick, out of character note: when did I see the bloody axe?
Once you
earlier?
got close, you would have, yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is such a fascinating little cottage. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm sorry. What was when was the last time you had visitors?
Oh my. Well, she kind of stops to think for a minute. Penny, she turns to the one off back here. When was the last time we've had visitors? Penny kind of shrugs, doesn't even think about it, just shrugs immediately. Begins trying to, turn this barrel upright down here. No, I guess Penny can't remember. Agnes? Says, oh, has to have been years by now. Not sure how many. We're not much for keeping track of time out here. No calendars or anything. I'm terribly sorry. Why do you ask?
I just really want to find this girl. And why don't you tell me what that axe is for outside? I couldn't help but notice.
Oh, Urk, our servant. He chops our firewood. He goes out in the woods and, we couldn't make our tea or cook our food without Urk getting us firewood.
And the wood out here, forgive me for a truly outrageous question, but does the wood bleed?
Bleed?
This does seem like a strange tree that you live in here.
Oh, yes, this is, the work of me and my sisters. We cared for this tree for many years, and then, well, it's now providing us a home. I'm terribly sorry, but did you come all this way just to ask us questions? Are we, were we under suspicion of something?
Do you have any idea why we may have dreamt of this place?
Well, dreams can mean many things, although we do find that they tend to come true. Why? What did you dream of? You said you saw a girl here, but we're not aware of a girl here. Just me and my sisters.
I'm gonna put on my big cat voice and intimidate and say, I've had enough of this. Where is the girl?
Roll me intimidation check.
Yeah.
Can I try to insight to see if she's being honest?
Sure, we'll handle the insight first, since that's a reaction to the last thing that was said. And which specific part of her sentences are you asking about? What are you curious about?
Her saying there's generally not many people around, they don't get visitors.
Gotcha. Okay.
That servant being helpful. Natural 20 for a total of 20.
All right. So...
What was that? Some acting.
It seems like she's telling the truth about this area being pretty empty, and you can kind of verify that from your trip here. You didn't see anything but woods on your way here, and it would make sense there would be nothing else in any other direction. And the way she spoke about their servant did sound pretty natural. It does sound like they do have a servant. He does work for them. He gathers firewood for them. You gather firewood might not be the only thing he does, though. And so, Faye, you were rolling an intimidation check.
Yes. That's
Oh
cute.
my! Now, we have offered you hospitality, and you would come into our home and act like this. It's very rude of you. Isn't that right, Penny? Penny looks right at you, Faye, just and still messing with the barrel a little bit, which has taken a while for her to get it upright. It's kind of weird. Oh, quite right, Olga, quite right. It's very rude. What do you say, Agnes? Yes, Olga, very rude. I think you guys are all very addled from the cold. Why don't you just stay here for a while and warm yourselves up? I'm sure you'll become more pleasant then. You could stay here for the night, perhaps a nice long night's rest in a warm environment, a dry environment could help you.
Perhaps that may be true.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Aren't you sure of it, Agnes? Oh, yes, Olga, very sure. How about you, Penny? Yes, Agnes, I'm very sure a night's rest would do them lots of good.
I'm not
I want to
sure.
mind link
You sure,
to Faye Faye, and be like, I feel like they're trying to buy time until their servant comes home.
Yes, I do believe that is the case.
Hmm.
I just I'm gonna take a breath and look to Olga and say, you know, I really am quite sorry. The dreams, you have to understand, they were vivid, they were intense. I grew so concerned for this girl's safety, and I was so hoping to find her here. It just seemed very important to me, and I think I was just disappointed. So please, I'm very sorry for my rudeness, and I do appreciate everything you've offered here. I do think that my companions and I are going to be on our way, if you don't mind. Truly, thank you for everything you've offered us.
Make me a persuasion check.
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
Crikey.
What you say makes sense. But we really can't just let you leave here like that. You're our guests. We haven't had guests in years. Why don't you just stay for a day or two?
We kind of have a tight
We will forgive your rudeness if you just partake in our hospitality a bit more. It's a show of good faith.
We're on a tight schedule. We really must be on our way.
Oh, no,
Telepathic
Carrie.
inside of the party.
She interrupts you at that point and throws down the plate of teacups and says, "You will be staying with us. Our hospitality will not be denied."
We're not invited, we're trapped. So we need to just be as pleasant as possible until we leave.
No, I'm just gonna say, no. Olga, quite right, Carrick. It's okay. This is gonna be nice. Please do just let us go get our things outside, and we'll set up in here. You know, we didn't expect to be staying.
In the middle of your sentence, Patch begins barking and scratching at the door.
Yeah, well, shit.
Oh, great.
Oops, misclick again.
Oh, sounds like Urk is home. Fantastic.
How long has it been?
Eric tries to open the door.
The door does not open.
Of course
Do you
not.
mind if I open my door just to let my defender in?
Oh, Certainly, I'm sure. Actually, if all of you could just take a step back from the door so Urk could get in, that would be fantastic. And your defender may come in as well. You start to hear the rungs of the ladder being strained outside.
Oh boy. Do not like.
Please step back, sirs.
Yeah, I'm gonna move. I'm just gonna calmly walk past them. Over.
Please, if you would
here.
politely make way for something that.
First, the door opens up just small enough for like kind of a panel of the door at the bottom swings open like a doggy door to let Patch in. Do you have Patch come in?
Yeah, I have Pat get the fuck away from that thing.
Okay. You hear something step onto the stairs, and then the doors open up.
Oh shit.
Jesus.
And you
The
see,
absolute size of this lad.
and then the doors close behind him. And you see a large ogre walk in with an arm full of firewood in one arm, and the other arm doesn't have a hand on the end. Instead, it just has a long chain that's kind of coiled around the arm. He sets, and the chain kind of has an axe in the end that he sets down at the ground next to the door, and then he looks around and says, "Guests, huh? Long time since we've had those." And he begins to move over here in order to set the firewood down over in this corner.
No. This is not where I wanted to
And he
be.
just kind of plants some firewood down over in this area. And then begins to walk back towards the door.
I'm gonna ask the party telepathically if we're rolling for initiative.
Not yet.
Oh, now
I'm
we
going
have...
to respond and I'm gonna say, let's just get the fuck out, in telepathically. Let's go get our stuff.
I don't think they're gonna let that happen, Carrick.
Let's fucking try.
I think we should probably at least lull them a little bit.
Yes. That is. We can't.
We need to stop trying to get out of here and try to get them calm down. I have to
Yeah, play along.
Freak me the fuck out.
Play along. We gotta play along. Strike when it's right.
Now that Urk's here, now the whole party is here, why don't we have Agnes prepare supper? Any preferences? Well, I suppose there's not much choice out here. It's mostly root vegetables and whatever meat Urk can scavenge.
Any preferences? I don't know, not me.
Oh, don't worry. We have some fresh game from just the other day that Urk managed to pick up.
Oh, much better.
Fantastic.
If Dross gets hit with one of those psychic messages, he's just gonna say, let me know, just give the signal and I'll get us out of here.
Well, I've been bouncing this stuff all over the place, so that message will get around.
Well, so will you all be accepting our hospitality, staying for dinner, and at least for one night? You have to stay at least one night.
I think that would be very nice, yes. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, and since you guys, we were very late at this point, I apologize, but I wanted to make sure that reached some kind of conclusion. So we will pick up from there next time.
Oh my god, I have never been more afraid of someone offering me a cup of tea.
And right now.
Yo, this is really good.
Thank you.
This is fucking terrifying.
I'm so glad you guys didn't ignore the dreams, because that was a possibility and I would have been really upset.
That's why I'm always chasing
really
the end.
Why would we do that?
No, this is fucking good. This is the good shit.
Thank you very much.